Our next Innovation Award honoree is Milwaukee-based Rapid Radicals Technology. Paige Peters, the company's Chief Technology Officer, started the company based on her graduate school research, which combined technologies in new ways and applied them to new situations in wastewater treatment. Her initial proof of concept has turned into larger and larger pilot projects, grant funding, and other accolades, including winning the Governor's Business Plan contest this year. Please welcome Paige Peters.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much to the BizTimes for this award, and thank you for sharing our story. So much of what we do as innovators and entrepreneurs is because people are talking about what we're doing, and that's how we're able to move the solution forward. Especially thanks to Ashley Smart, who was the first reporter to actually come out to our pilot at South Shore Water Reclamation Facility in Oak Creek, one of the sewerage district's facilities. And she was the first one to tour our plant, and I think it was her first time on a wastewater treatment plant. Yeah, okay, which I actually don't think is that big of a deal for most people. It's probably their first time most of the time. But for someone who lives there often, it was exciting to get to share something that means a lot to me with someone, and it meant a lot to the team for her to come down and honestly take one of the best pictures we've ever shared as a company, so appreciate that. I really appreciate the opportunity to share a bit with you guys about Rapid Radicals and our journey. I get asked often, what advice would I give, myself, 6 years ago? And the advice there's three things that really come to mind. The advice I give newbie entrepreneur Paige was really not to go it alone, and I took that advice. Building a team has been one of the greatest joys of my career. The other two pieces of advice that I wish I had taken was to trust my instincts a little bit better at the onset, and also to never invest in QuickBooks for desktop. Just don't do that. That'll turn into 2-year time suck. But really what has marked this experience for me so far has been my team and our COO, Will, and our first full-time employees here with me today. Has been my team, the way that we've embraced what we don't know so that we can fully own what we do, and really the momentum building around the problem that we're solving. So to my team, building a team has, like I said, been the greatest honor of my career, and it's beyond humbling to get to build this dream with people who are excited about it, who jump on your vision, who help create your vision, who challenge you regularly to think about what your wildest dream is. And I would say that this moment and the momentum that we've built has been my wildest dream. And then my team's like, yeah, but what if we have a skyscraper someday? So the ability to have a team who's willing to keep pushing you on your wildest dreams and help you build that is truly incredible. We deal with setbacks like champs because we lead with curiosity and we let the market tell us what it needs instead of making assumptions. Or if we sort of find ourselves making assumptions about things, we go out and test it. At Rapid Radicals, the phrase drop and give me 30 has everything to do with customer discovery interviews. So that approach has actually led us to exploring markets in Europe and the UK, which is really exciting for us to be dealing with the problem that we are right now, which is, this sewer overflow challenge. So despite a $50 billion annual investment in sewer infrastructure in the States, there's still 850 billion gallons of untreated sewage that get discharged into U.S. lakes and rivers every year, which is the equivalent to 170,000 Mississippi rivers filled with poop water, which is a lot. And it's only getting worse as climate change makes these storms more intense, more frequent, and less predictable. But it's interesting because people are often shocked to discover that all this sewage is still being discharged into lakes and rivers, and especially frequently here in the Great Lakes region. So we all have a part to play, and part of that is participating in discourse around climate change, challenging yourself to think about what happens when you turn on your tap, what happens when you flush your toilet, and really engaging yourself in the conversation around infrastructure. We have an aging infrastructure, and one of the biggest things that we can do as individuals who aren't engineers, who don't necessarily feel like they're part of the solution, is first of all, obviously not be part of the problem, but second of all, find yourself in a position where you're asking questions, where you're leading with curiosity, you're engaging with your local government, your regional, your local leaders, and trying to understand how you can participate, because the problem that we're trying to solve with Rapid Radicals and with sewer infrastructure is a big one. And the reality is that there's this gap between the magnitude of funding that exists to solve these problems and the magnitude of the problem itself. And we keep pushing forward because we have to. We have been tasked with this. It's in our bones now to solve this problem, but it's not something that we ever try to do alone, and it's something that we try to engage others on as we go through it. So I encourage you, call to action to think more critically about the way that you interact with your infrastructure and the way that you would perhaps want to see anything like that change. So when I talk about the magnitude of the problem, it seems like, well, geez, maybe it's just too big of a problem. But my perspective is just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it shouldn't be. In fact, that's a really good reason to do something. And I'll leave you with these words: be radical. Thank you.